Have you ever wondered why, despite all your efforts, achieving prosperity and living in peace seems impossible? If you're struggling with this question, you're not alone. Today, I'm going to share with you 5 crucial warnings from Padre Pio that could change your life forever. If you believe in Padre Pio's wisdom, write "I trust" in the comments below. In our fast-paced world, where spiritual traps lurk around every corner, understanding these 5 warnings has become more critical than ever. Padre Pio, one of the most remarkable spiritual guides of our faith, revealed 5 things we should never accept in our lives, as they open doors to both spiritual and material poverty. What you're about to hear isn't just advice. It's a wake-up call that could unlock the prosperity and peace you've been seeking. These revelations from Padre Pio, who had an extraordinary connection with God, expose what might be secretly stealing your abundance without you even realizing it. You see, in today's world where everything seems more confusing and challenging than ever, seemingly innocent decisions could be blocking the blessings meant for your life. Padre Pio's wisdom becomes even more relevant as we navigate these uncertain times. His teachings offer a beacon of hope and practical guidance for those seeking true prosperity. Think about it. How many times have you felt stuck, wondering why your efforts aren't bearing fruit? How often have you questioned why others seem to prosper while you struggle? These questions troubled many who sought Padre Pio's counsel, and his answers were both surprising and transformative. Before I reveal these 5 crucial warnings, I want you to understand something important. This message isn't just about material prosperity. It's about achieving a complete state of well-being in your finances, relationships, and spiritual life. Padre Pio understood that true prosperity comes when we align ourselves with God's will and protect ourselves from harmful influences. The insights you're about to discover have helped countless people transform their lives. Many who followed these teachings found themselves breaking free from cycles of lack and limitation. They discovered that by avoiding these 5 things, they could finally experience the abundance they were meant to have. Are you ready to discover what these 5 warnings are? Are you prepared to learn what might be secretly blocking your blessings? In the next few minutes, I'll share each of these warnings in detail, along with practical examples and guidance on how to apply them in your daily life. Remember, what sets these teachings apart is that they come from someone who dedicated his life to helping others find their path to true prosperity. Padre Pio's insights weren't just theoretical. They were born from years of spiritual wisdom and practical experience in guiding countless souls. If you're watching this video, it's not by chance. Perhaps you've been seeking answers, looking for guidance on how to improve your life. These 5 warnings from Padre Pio could be exactly what you need to hear today. Stay with me as we explore each one and prepare yourself for revelations that could transform your understanding of prosperity and spiritual protection. Let's begin with Padre Pio's first and most crucial warning. Never accept objects or gifts with negative spiritual energy. This warning might sound simple, but its impact on your life can be profound. I've seen countless cases where seemingly innocent objects became gateways to unexpected hardships. Consider what happened in a household where financial problems began after receiving an antique mirror. The family experienced unexplained losses, and their once peaceful home became filled with tension. Only after removing the mirror did their situation improve. Padre Pio taught that objects can carry the energy of their previous owners, affecting not just our peace, but our prosperity as well. You might be wondering, how can I identify these harmful objects? Padre Pio provided 3 clear signs to watch for. First, if you feel unexplained unease around certain items. Second, if you notice changes in your home's atmosphere after bringing in new objects. Third, if these items are connected to painful memories or difficult relationships. Look around your home right now. Are there objects that make you feel uncomfortable? Perhaps gifts from people who wished you harm, or items connected to painful past experiences. These might be the very things blocking your blessings. Padre Pio emphasized that our homes should be sanctuaries of peace, not storage spaces for negative energy. This principle extends beyond just old or antique items. Even new objects, if given with negative intentions, can affect our lives. Padre Pio warned specifically about accepting gifts from people who harbor jealousy or ill will towards us. He taught that these objects could become conduits for negative influences, affecting our decisions and blocking our path to prosperity. Let me share an observation from years of studying Padre Pio's teachings. When people cleared their homes of spiritually charged objects, they often experienced immediate positive changes. Their businesses improved, relationships healed, and opportunities seemed to appear from nowhere. It's as if removing these items lifted an invisible barrier to their blessings. But here's the key. It's not about becoming paranoid about every object in your home. Instead, Padre Pio advocated for spiritual discernment. He suggested a simple practice. Spend time in prayer before accepting significant gifts or bringing new items into your home. Trust your intuition. It's often God's way of protecting you. Before we move to the second warning, I want to teach you a practical exercise Padre Pio recommended. Take a moment each morning to observe how different objects in your home make you feel. If something consistently brings negative feelings or memories, consider removing it. This simple practice can create space for new blessings in your life. Remember, protecting your spiritual space isn't about fear, it's about wisdom. Padre Pio understood that our material world and spiritual well-being are deeply connected. By being mindful of what we allow into our physical space, we are actually protecting our spiritual prosperity. This first warning might seem unconventional in today's world, where we're taught to accumulate more things. But Padre Pio's wisdom reminds us that quality of life isn't measured by what we own, but by the peace and prosperity we experience. Sometimes, letting go of certain objects is the first step toward the abundance God has planned for us. The second warning from Padre Pio is critical. Never accept advice from people without spiritual foundation. In today's world, where everyone claims to be an expert, this wisdom is more important than ever. Padre Pio observed that following misguided advice could lead us away from true prosperity. Think about the people you turn to for guidance. Are their lives aligned with spiritual principle? Do their actions reflect genuine wisdom? Padre Pio emphasized that not all advice, even when well-intentioned, comes from a place of true understanding. He saw many cases where following worldly counsel led people astray from their path to prosperity. Let me share something powerful I've learned from studying Padre Pio's teachings. A successful business owner once sought his guidance after nearly losing everything. Despite having many advisors, his business was failing. Padre Pio revealed the root cause. He was surrounding himself with people who only valued material success, ignoring spiritual principles. After changing his advisors and aligning his business with spiritual values, his prosperity returned. Padre Pio provided 3 key questions to ask before accepting anyone's advice. Does this person prioritize spiritual values in their own life? Have their decisions brought lasting peace and prosperity? Do their words align with God's teachings? These simple questions can protect you from advice that might seem good on the surface, but lacks spiritual foundation. But here's what many people misunderstand about this warning. It's not about rejecting all worldly wisdom. Instead, Padre Pio taught us to filter advice through spiritual discernment. He believed that true prosperity comes when practical wisdom aligns with spiritual truth. Before I continue sharing these important teachings from Padre Pio about protecting your prosperity, I want to invite you to become part of this spiritual family. If these messages of protection and wisdom are touching your heart, you can support this space by becoming a channel member. Also, if this message is helping your life, don't forget to leave your thank you in the comments below. Now let's continue with these important revelations. Consider the impact of misguided advice in your own life. Have you ever followed someone's guidance only to feel a deep sense of unease? Padre Pio taught that this discomfort is often the Holy Spirit warning us that something isn't right. Learning to recognize and honor these spiritual promptings is crucial for protecting your prosperity. Here's a practical application of this teaching. Before making important decisions, take time for prayer and reflection. Padre Pio recommended creating a circle of spiritually minded advisors who can offer guidance aligned with God's will. This doesn't mean these people need to be religious leaders. They simply need to demonstrate wisdom that goes beyond material success. Remember, prosperity isn't just about financial success. Padre Pio saw true prosperity as a state of complete well-being, spiritual, emotional, and material. When we accept advice only focused on material gain, we risk compromising our spiritual peace and true abundance. Let me share a powerful practice Padre Pio suggested. Whenever you receive advice, pause and ask yourself, will following this guidance bring me closer to or further from God's plan for my life? This simple question can save you from countless missteps and protect your path to true prosperity. The third warning from Padre Pio touches the core of our well-being. Never accept proposals that compromise your inner peace. In a world that constantly pushes us to sacrifice our peace for success, this teaching becomes increasingly valuable. Let me explain why this warning is crucial for your prosperity. Padre Pio witnessed many people trading their peace for promises of quick success. He observed how a promising career opportunity could become a source of constant anxiety, or how a lucrative business deal could rob someone of their sleep and tranquility. He firmly believed that any gain achieved at the cost of inner peace was actually a loss. Consider this scenario that often came to Padre Pio's attention. A person accepts a high-paying position that requires them to compromise their values or sacrifice their prayer time. Initially, the financial benefits seem worth it. However, as weeks pass, they notice their energy depleting, their relationships suffering, and ironically, their ability to enjoy their increased income diminishing. Padre Pio provided 3 clear signs that a proposal might compromise your peace. First, if it creates persistent anxiety or unease. Second, if it requires you to sacrifice your prayer or reflection time. Third, if it forces you to act against your conscience. These signs are like spiritual traffic lights, warning us to stop and reconsider our choices. Let me share a profound insight from Padre Pio's teachings. True prosperity flows naturally when we maintain our inner peace. It's like a garden. When the soil is healthy and well tended, plants grow naturally. Similarly, when we protect our inner peace, opportunities and blessings find their way to us without forcing or compromising. This isn't just spiritual theory, it's practical wisdom for modern life. Think about times when you've made decisions in a state of inner turmoil versus times when you've acted from a place of peace. Which decisions brought better results? Padre Pio observed that choices made in peace, even if they seem less profitable initially, often lead to greater long-term prosperity. Here's a powerful practice Padre Pio recommended. Before accepting any proposal, take time to observe how it affects your inner state. Does it bring peace or disturbance? Does it align with your values? Does it allow you to maintain your spiritual practices? These questions can protect you from choices that might seem profitable but actually cost you your peace. Let me share something particularly important about this teaching. Some people misinterpret it as avoiding all challenging situations. That's not what Padre Pio meant. He taught that there's a difference between the temporary discomfort of growth and the persistent disturbance of a wrong choice. True opportunities, even challenging ones, should ultimately deepen your peace, not diminish it. This brings us to a practical aspect of protecting your peace. Padre Pio suggested creating what he called peace boundaries, clear limits on what you will and won't accept in your life. For example, not checking work emails during prayer time, or not accepting projects that require dishonesty, no matter how profitable they might seem. Remember, protecting your peace isn't selfish. It's essential for serving others effectively. Padre Pio often said that a person at peace becomes a source of peace for others. By maintaining your inner tranquility, you're not just benefiting yourself, you're creating an environment where others can thrive too. Padre Pio's fourth warning is perhaps the most overlooked yet powerful. Never allow relationships that drain your spiritual energy. This warning addresses a subtle but significant threat to your prosperity. People who deplete your spiritual strength and block your blessings. In his years of spiritual guidance, Padre Pio noticed how certain relationships could act like invisible anchors, holding people back from their true potential. He saw that some connections, even when they appeared beneficial on the surface, were actually blocking the flow of blessings in people's lives. Consider what happens when you spend time with someone who constantly complains or criticizes. You might notice feeling tired, discouraged, or doubtful afterward. Padre Pio explained that this isn't just emotional fatigue, it's a real drain on your spiritual energy, which directly affects your ability to attract and maintain prosperity. There's a profound connection between the company we keep and our prosperity. A business partnership might look promising on paper, but if your partner's negative energy constantly drains you, success will remain elusive. Padre Pio taught that true prosperity flows more easily when we're surrounded by people who uplift our spirit, not those who deplete it. Here's a practical way to identify spiritually draining relationships. Pay attention to how you feel after interactions. Do you feel energized and inspired, or exhausted and doubtful? Do your faith and hope grow stronger or weaker? These feelings are important indicators that Padre Pio urged us to notice. Let me share an important observation from his teachings. Sometimes the most draining relationships are with people closest to us. This makes setting boundaries particularly challenging. However, Padre Pio emphasized that protecting your spiritual energy isn't selfish. It's essential for maintaining the strength to help others effectively. This brings us to a crucial point about managing these relationships. Padre Pio didn't advocate for completely cutting people off, unless absolutely necessary. Instead, he suggested creating healthy boundaries. This might mean limiting time spent with certain people, being mindful of what you share with them, or ensuring you have time to recharge after difficult interactions. Think about your current relationships. Are there people in your life who consistently leave you feeling drained? Do certain interactions seem to coincide with periods of struggle or lack? Padre Pio taught that recognizing these patterns is the first step toward protecting your prosperity. Here's a practical exercise Padre Pio recommended. Create a relationship inventory. List the people you interact with regularly and note how each interaction affects your energy, faith, and peace. This awareness can help you make wise decisions about where to invest your time and energy. Remember, this teaching isn't about judgment or criticism. It's about stewardship, being a good steward of the spiritual energy God has given you. When you protect yourself from draining relationships, you're better equipped to fulfill your purpose and help others effectively. The fifth and final warning from Padre Pio holds a powerful truth. Never accept commitments based on pride and vanity. This teaching cuts to the heart of what often blocks our true prosperity, our own ego. Padre Pio observed countless cases where people's pursuit of status and recognition led them away from genuine abundance. He saw how the desire to impress others or maintain appearances could trap people in cycles of spiritual and material poverty. Consider the businessman who took on prestigious positions merely for status, or the person who lives beyond their means to maintain a certain image. Padre Pio noted that these ego-driven choices often lead to eventual downfall, as they're built on a foundation of pride rather than authentic purpose. Here's what Padre Pio taught about recognizing pride-based commitments. First, examine your motivations honestly. Are you accepting responsibilities to serve others and grow, or to feed your ego? Second, notice if you're making decisions based on what others will think, rather than what feels right in your heart. The remedy, according to Padre Pio, lies in humility and authenticity. Before accepting any commitment, ask yourself, am I doing this to please God and serve others, or am I seeking recognition and praise? This simple question can protect you from commitments that might look impressive, but ultimately drain your true prosperity. Let me share a practical method Padre Pio suggested for making decisions free from pride. Take a moment of quiet reflection before any significant commitment. Imagine making the choice without anyone knowing about it. Would you still do it? Your honest answer reveals whether your motivation comes from authentic purpose or pride. Before I share our closing thoughts about these 5 crucial warnings from Padre Pio, I want to invite you who have stayed with us to leave a thank you below this video if these teachings have touched your heart. This simple gesture of gratitude helps more families receive these valuable revelations. And if you wish to continue receiving more messages of protection and wisdom, become a member of this space of connection and faith. Together, we can create a community where peace and harmony become a reality in every home. Let's review these 5 essential warnings from Padre Pio that can transform your life. First, protect yourself from objects carrying negative energy. They can secretly block your blessings. Second, be selective about whose advice you follow, ensuring it comes from those with spiritual wisdom. Third, never compromise your inner peace for temporary gains. Fourth, guard yourself from relationships that drain your spiritual energy. Fifth, avoid commitments rooted in pride and vanity. Padre Pio left us a practical method for implementing these teachings. Each morning, take a moment to reflect on 3 questions. What am I allowing into my life today? Who am I allowing to influence my decisions? What are my true motivations for today's choices? These 5 warnings aren't just restrictions, they're keys to unlocking the prosperity God intends for you. By following them, you create space for true blessings to flow into your life. Remember, protecting yourself from these 5 things isn't about fear. It's about wisdom and discernment. Consider starting today by examining your environment, relationships, and commitments. Which of these warnings resonates most with your current situation? Take action on what you've learned. Remove what needs to be removed. Strengthen what needs to be strengthened. The power to change your life lies in the choices you make today. These teachings from Padre Pio offer a clear path to true prosperity, one that balances material success with spiritual well-being. Share this message with those you care about, as these warnings could be the key someone else needs. If these revelations from Padre Pio about protecting your spiritual and material prosperity have touched your heart, I invite you to share a thank you below this video. Your gratitude helps spread these valuable teachings to more families seeking guidance. Consider becoming a member of our spiritual family to receive more wisdom and protection messages. Together, we can build a community where peace and abundance flourish in every home.